Peace, creator, peace, family. How you doing? Welcome back to another video. Welcome back to Sound by Source. All right, it's your boy Ayotemi. You feel me? And today we're gonna be getting into it. You know what I'm saying? First of all, I'm in a beautiful, beautiful mood. I was just outside barefoot. You know, tuning into my energy. You know, tapping into source creativity, and releasing the negative energy or releasing any stagnant energy from work today. You know what I'm saying? So I'm in a perfect state for sharing, you know what I'm saying? And before I do all of these videos, I pray. I pray to the Most High that He utilizes me, that He flows through me, that His voice be louder than mine. You know what I'm saying? The reason I'm telling you these things is because these are the things that are also necessary to tap in to divine source creativity, to allow it to flow through you. You know what I'm saying? It's important to clear the energy, clear the room, clear the space that, divine energy is going to occupy. So I felt like sharing that with you guys. So let's get into it, man. Today, we're going to be getting a little bit into my story. You know what I'm saying? How source creativity has completely changed my life in the span of 4 months. Literally from December to now, it is April 3rd when I'm recording this. My life has completely changed, completely shifted. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, let's get into it. You know what I'm saying? 4 months ago, I was in Asia. I was in Thailand. And, I had been in Thailand for about a year. Well, I'd been in Southeast Asia for about a year and a half at that point. You know what I'm saying? And, basically, to be completely frank, money became super tight while we were out there. You know what I'm saying? Money became super tight. My mind was flooded with how do I make money? You know what I'm saying? I guess since I was very young, I always was very clear on where the Most High, where Source was going to take me in my life. I knew that I was going to be a leader. I knew that I was going to be a star. I knew that I was going to be famous. I knew that I was going to reach millions and millions and millions of people with my creativity, with my voice. And I also knew that I was going to be rich, right? I knew this from a young age. This was revealed to me just through some spiritual experiences that I don't have time to really get into right now. But I say that to say, early on in my journey, I didn't really respect money. I didn't really respect money. And so, you know what I'm saying? I found myself in a situation, in my adult age where I went to Asia partly because I just wanted to break free. I wanted to break through. I did not accept that, I had to work a 9 to 5, that I had to answer to anybody, that, what they were telling me I had to do in America was the only way. And also, I had divine guidance that told me that it was time to jump. It was time to move. And that entire process of being in Asia completely revolutionized my life. You know what I'm saying? I was able to heal so many things, come to so many amazing revelations. And part of it at the end there was, me basically breaking down. Like, I didn't have money, right? And I had a partner, I had a girlfriend, so basically in this space of focusing on money, I'm like, all right, creating music. At this point, I already had, a couple million streams. I'd already done some incredible things. I'd already toured. I'd already done some amazing things in my career and in my life. But it wasn't, it wasn't amounting to the success and to the riches that I needed in my life. And so, I had kind of like, for the first time ever, decided like, all right, my creativity, my purpose, this music is not generating money. I need to focus on money, right? I have a girlfriend. I need to be a man. I need to provide this and that. You know what I'm saying? There's so much I could talk about there, but for the purpose of this story, I stopped creating, right? I stopped creating. I put creativity on the back burner for months. And it was terrible. It was probably the worst thing ever for my spirit, for my soul, for my energy. Like, I felt super backed up. Some of y'all could probably relate to what I'm saying right now. I felt backed up energetically. I felt almost like physically, I felt very resentful of my circumstances. I felt like life was so hard, and that, you know, there were times, and I never really thought about like killing myself, but there were times where I thought like, yo, I don't really want to, like, this is too hard. What is the point of this? You know what I'm saying? I'm supposed to just focus on money and just make money, and like my creativity doesn't matter. And, I started to lose touch with myself, with my identity, with my confidence. I was just very low. I was just in a very low frequency, very low state, you know what I'm saying? And it might be even hard to even wrap your mind around how I could be like this now, the way that I'm speaking, the way I'm existing. But yeah, not creating and being in that creative block, I started to doubt myself. I started to doubt my authentic voice. I started to doubt whether, the visions that I'd seen when I was young were true, whether I was actually as good as I thought I was, I just started to lose touch with my identity, right? So after that, right, basically the situation doesn't really get much better, except I discover I'm learning a lot as well at this time, and I discover how I can take, some of the things that I've mastered in my journey, like freestyle. You know what I'm saying? I could freestyle endlessly, and I'm gonna post a video where I'm just freestyling soon. So you just vibe out. But I figured out that, like, yo, I can take the things that, I've mastered thus far, and I can, build a business around that, right? So I had this seed. I had the seed of Signed by Source, right? But things didn't get any better, in the physical. Like, I ended up having to come home. My mom spotted me for the ticket. I basically had to come home with my tail between my legs and feel like I failed. Before I left home, a year and a half before that, I was like, I'm not coming home unless I have a trophy, like, unless I'm coming back with a bag, with success, and I left a young boy and I came back a man. But that was part of my energy when I left. So coming back, I remember I felt like a failure. Like, the relationship that I was in was on the rocks just because of how tense the situation was. We were so focused on money. There was very little space or energy to actually like love each other. So yeah, I'm coming back brokenhearted. I'm coming back empty-handed, quote unquote, you know what I'm saying? I had the seed, and yeah. So when I got back to the States, I was able to, stay with my mom for a second. And this allowed just the stress of, rent and, visa runs and all of these kind of different things that I was struggling about overseas to be lifted off of my shoulders, so I could just like breathe again, right? And what happened was, and I really don't want this video to get too long, but it's kind of like, it's low-key like a story type video, so y'all could really get a sense of who I am as well, So I come back to the States. I find this video Some of y'all might have seen this video. It's a interview between Lil Yachty and Lil Baby. And this video is very, very intriguing. And there's a moment where Lil Baby speaks on how there were times in his life where he was going through intense struggle. Here, let me bring this a little closer. What's up? Yeah, Lil Baby was talking about how he was going through intense struggle, and at the same time he was making music. So there was a time where he literally had to go through the process of what he called breaking himself to the music. You know what I'm saying? Where he would create a song every day, a song or two every day, regardless of how he was feeling, because he was dealing with a whole lot of trauma, you know, people dying, you know, certain issues around money, his friends, his friend group, his family, just certain things happening. And he was like, I'm breaking himself to the music, just creating every day, regardless of what was going on in his human experience. And he said this very briefly and in passing, and like, you know, they kind of glanced over it in the interview, but it hit me like a ton of bricks when he said this, because I don't even know if he understood the gravity of what he was saying, but what he was talking about was being a conduit for creativity. You know what I'm saying? He was talking about showing up regardless, and that divine creativity, or just creativity in general, would meet him there, right? He talked about also in that interview how he would create, and, you know, if it's the one, it's the one. If it's not, it's not. You know what I'm saying? He removed his expectation. He removed any pressure around creating, of what the result would be, and he just thrusted himself into the creation aspect of it. And that's what it means to be a conduit. You know what I'm saying? Like, creating regardless. You know what I'm saying? Another thing, I didn't talk about this in the previous slide, but, you know, I already had like, during those 4 months, I also had like a vault of music that I created that I hadn't released. So I was like, yo, it doesn't make sense to create. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't make sense, you know, because I was thinking about the results of releasing the music and, you know, putting it out, and the success and all of these kind of things were clouding my creativity in the process of creating. And so, bada boom, bada bam, right? I watched that interview, and I decided from that day that I'm going to create a song every day. I'm going to show up, and I'm going to create a song every day. And I'm going to ask God to meet me and create with me and create through me and utilize me as a conduit. And I started doing this every day. Now, this changed everything for me. For a couple of reasons. Now, first and foremost, I began to, my trust in myself, and the trust in my connection to the source began to deepen and strengthen incredibly, right? My confidence in my connection to source, my confidence in my connection to source was re-strengthened and restored, right? Remember, I told you that I felt like I lost my identity when I wasn't creating. Through these creations and through continuously showing up and making banger after banger after banger after banger after banger. You know what I'm saying? Like, some of these songs that I create, I mean, I'm packaging them up now and turning them into projects that I'm releasing, and I was creating the best work of my life. I am creating the best work of my life. My confidence in myself as being one of the greatest artists that have ever lived was restored to me. You know, my trust in the divine source of my creativity, that whenever I sit down to create, I know that the Most High is going to flow through me. You know what I'm saying? And removing mental barriers, just like I'm doing now. Like, it's the same process that I apply to everything. You know, like recording this video, I'm not thinking so much about the the results. You know what I'm saying? The only thing that I am thinking about is trying to keep it short, just to just to respect you guys' time. But as far as like the mental barriers of like myself and all of those different things, like my judgment of myself, my judgment of my speech, my judgment of all of that stuff, I began to realize that, yo, none of that's my job. Every time that I would get into the studio and create, and the voices would come to try and tell me like, this is trash, you're doing it wrong. They try to kill the seed before it grows. Those voices. Every time they would come and I would vanquish them, I would silence them, I would conquer them, they became weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker. You know what I'm saying? And then beyond that, I began to, my receptivity to divine creativity became much more fluent, much more open. Now I know what it feels like. I knew and I know what it feels like for me to channel divine creativity, and what it feels like joy. It feels like I'm high, right? It feels like I'm high off like some herbs, some weed, right? Like my eyes start to get a little low. I start to feel, my face starts to flush a little bit. I'm feeling energy flowing through me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm completely sober. I've been sober for the past 4 months. It changed so much. Just that confidence, that essence confidence in source and in myself was completely restored. And this has changed so much for me. My receptivity to divine creativity has also increased my receptivity to the Most High in general. You know what I'm saying? So the wisdom, the guiding of my life to the steps, and it's manifesting in these videos that I'm sharing with you guys. Like this whole thing that I'm creating and that's being created through me is like a freestyle. It's like a song. You know what I'm saying? I was divinely guided to start creating these videos. I was divinely guided as I was creating these PowerPoints. All of this has come from my opening and my receptivity to divine creativity. You know what I'm saying? Completely changed my life, yo. Completely changed my life. I mean, a little bit more on this, right? Because if we're talking about the business aspect as well, because it's not just music, like your whole life changes, right? I created How to Freestyle, the ebook. I created Never Run Out of Words, which I've sold dozens of copies. And, I'm receiving messages, and you can check under these videos on my page, and under the videos on my main page or my artist page, Ayutemi, comments from people that are telling me that these things that I'm sharing are completely unlocking their creativity, unlocking their mind. You know what I'm saying? And I'm selling these books and I'm making money. You know what I'm saying? Like substantial income because of the value that I'm bringing. And this is all because of me opening up to divine creativity through creating music every day. That practice of doing that every day led to that. It led to me being able to receive, constantly. Some of my next moves for the next 5 years, I've received the divine wisdom to orchestrate and to organize all of that because of this state of receptivity that I've been able to sustain because of my continuous creativity and creating and showing up to create music, right? So you see you see the contrast between what I was thinking 4 months ago, where I was like, it's not paying the bills, it's not helping me, I need to focus on money, versus me prioritizing my creativity, prioritizing my essence as a source, as a creator, and doing that daily has now domino affected into every aspect of my life. Another thing is the job that I got, right? I got a job, I'm not going to tell you the specifics of the job because it's kind of like, it's confidential. It's like a high level job, and the application process for that, the divine wisdom and guidance to stop smoking weed as well. so that when that job came, I was able to pass the drug test to get the job. And now I have the job, and now I'm able to create and build these things without that feeling of like trying to choke the life out of it to make sure that it succeeds so that I can, out of survival. So I'm not creating out of survival, right? So those mental barriers I can create all of this without having to stress. This was all because I was creating a song every day, fam. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, my life is completely changed. My life is completely changed. Like, even the way that I manage my relationships, like, coming back home to live with my mom after being away for like 2 years. If you've ever been away from home and come back home, you might be able to relate to this. But like, there's mother wounds there. There's just certain ways that your mom, because she raised you, she's seen you as a child butt naked, change your diaper, to the new identity of you that's trying to form, and the tendency for the parent to not be able to kind of like evolve with you and respect, right? And to like pull you back to those, to the things that you grow out of. My ability to just be open to divine wisdom and clarity has helped me to manage my relationship with my mom, and heal certain things with my mom, and completely revolutionize her perspective of me and her respect for me as a growing man. You know what I'm saying? Just because of my ability to flow, like, it changes every aspect of your life. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, yo, like, it's actually super dope to reflect on this stuff now. Like, high key. But let's keep going, man. I'm not trying to make this too long, but yeah, in 4 months, you know what I'm saying? Completely changed. Breakthrough, daily creative flow, my authentic voice. It actually happened much quicker than this. Much, much quicker than this. But I'm sitting here at month 4, and it's been a complete transformation. Like, I'm even, like, everything, because of my connection now to divine source and how much I prioritize that, it's causing me to eat better, to drink only the most quality water, to go to the gym on a regular basis, to make sure that the energy in my body is flowing so that I can be a proper conduit. You know what I'm saying? My respect for myself as an instrument for divine creativity has caused me to become the version of myself that I've always seen myself becoming. I don't need weed. I haven't eaten fast food in the past 4 months. I cook my food now. I stretch. I'm more flexible than I've ever been. I've been working out. I'm the strongest and most physically fit that I've ever been. Like, and on top of that, I'm creating the best music of my life. Literally. I'm creating the best music of my life. Like, I'm creating fire every time I create. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, after this, I'm going to create a song. So I'm going to be wearing the same fit, so if you watch this and you watch that video, yeah, like, I'm going to create after this so you can see what I'm saying. Like, my whole life is completely transformed. Like I said, 4 months ago, I was going through a breakup as well. So like, my heart was heavy. There was a whole lot of feelings and healing that I had to go through. And like, now, my relationship, my love for myself, fam, like, my love for myself and my intimacy with the divine source, where I actually get the love that I was low-key pandering for. I was pandering for love. I was pandering to receive love from an external source. And now I know that I receive love from the Most High, and and that love can manifest through me and be redirected to myself, right? And from this space of personal contentment, I'm now manifesting love into my life in different ways. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to speak too much on that, you know what I'm saying? Because it's only been 4 months. But like, even the ability to like nurture friendships, and nurture loving friendships with women. Like, it's all from such a transformed place. Like, it's crazy, bro. It's crazy what operating as a conduit, tapping into divine source creativity, and doing that consistently and continuously, and making that a journey and part of your life can do for you. It's mind blowing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I've created over 50 songs in the past 4 months, over 200 plus hours in flow. And these songs, these new songs, excuse me, and these new songs, because of the depth and the pureness from which I've been creating, like, these songs reflect my purpose as an artist and as a minister for the Most High, so much deeper than my old music. It's crazy, yo. It's crazy. Like, I'm creating what I'm calling kingdom music now. Music that is for the kingdom. Music that raises the frequency. Music that brings source into the atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? And I've spent 10 plus years, exploring all different genres and learning how to create records that connect with people, and studying and feeling into that music. So now I can bring all of that and create music that is completely aligned with my purpose. And I don't face writer's block. I've not faced writer's block with any song. Every time I sit down to create a song, I create it from beginning to end. It's incredible. It's incredible. It's incredible. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, life is a source artist for me, creating on demand anytime. Literally anytime that I sit down. It's like a light switch. Like, it's just flip it on. That's it. Literally on demand. Authentic expression without effort. Absolutely. The music comes to me so effortlessly. I'm literally co-creating with the Most High, with Source. I'm co-creating with Source and allowing it to flow through. And the process, instead of effort, the effort has been replaced with complete joy. It feels so good to create, And then, yes, I'm connected to something greater. I'm connected to the Most High. You know what I'm saying? I'm connected to Source, right? And just being in that state, being in that presence, being in that energy, it's one of the most beautiful things that I think a human being can experience, is being connected to Source and allowing Source to create through you and co-creating with Source. Like, it's amazing. And like I said, it's trickled into every aspect of my life. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, yo, basically, like I said, this is something that at this point I've mastered it. You know what I'm saying? There's a huge, and you may be one of these people watching. You probably are. That's why this video, is resonating with you and you've made it to this point in the video. But there's so many people, so many creators that are waking up to the fact that they are creators. And, it took me 10 years to get to this point. 10 years and way over 10,000 hours. And basically, I've created a framework to where I can teach you how to tap into source creativity like this and how to become a source artist, right? It's a 6-week program. So basically, over the course of 6 weeks, you will create 6 of the best songs of your life. And I'm going to teach you how to create in the way that I create. I'm going to show you and teach you a new approach to creativity and completely rebuild the foundation on which you will build your entire creative career. I'm going to show you how to unlock unlimited creative potential, never run out of words again, never face writer's block again, create the best music of your life, right? It's called the source artist transformation. So if that resonates with you, you know, I don't want to spend so much time talking about it, honestly. If that resonates with you, go ahead and click the button below to apply. Okay. And I'm going to review each application. If you're a perfect fit for it, I'm going to reach out to you personally. All right. And you'll begin the process. On this apply, when you click that apply button, you can read more about what exactly it entails. This is a premium offer. Okay. It's not cheap. All right. My time and my energy is not cheap. And this is very, very intimate one-on-one work that, you know, it will change the trajectory of your creativity forever. So yeah, this is perfect for you if, you know, you've been creating and you want to go deeper. You want to create your best work. You know, you want to figure out how to never run out of words again. You know, you keep facing writer's block. You have a vault of unfinished records, you know, yeah. And you're looking for a new way that will completely revolutionize the way that you create. You know, it's not for you if, you know, you're looking for a get rich quick. You're just trying to be an artist to just get rich. Because this is the thing, right? There's something in the Bible. There's a scripture that just came to my mind. You know, if you don't believe in the Bible, if you don't believe in, you know what I'm saying, the most high source, this probably none of this is probably for you. You know what I'm saying? To be honest with you, maybe just keep watching the videos and I'm gonna explain source to you in a way that maybe it resonates with you more. But there's a scripture from the Bible that says, seek the kingdom of God and everything else will come with it. Right? When you seek to connect with source and you create from that place, riches and everything else follows. Like I told you all throughout this video, my entire life has changed. The abundance that has entered my life far supersedes money, and money is also coming. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, if you're just trying to like get rich quick off of creating music, this ain't for you, fam. If you're not willing to be consistent, if you're not open to, you know, if you don't have an open mind, it's not for you. You know what I'm saying? But if this resonates with you, I know that you can feel it deep in your soul and in your spirit that this resonates, okay? And if you're one of those people, click that apply button, go ahead and apply, shoot your shot, you know, and if it's a perfect match, I review all of these applications. I get a bunch of applications on a daily basis. Not everybody's a perfect fit. You know what I'm saying? I've redirected people elsewhere, you know what I'm saying? But if you're a perfect fit, then we will get to work, all right? You will be able to begin your source artist journey directly with me, and you will unlock limitless creative potential. That's a guarantee. It's a guarantee. I've created the perfect framework, and I know exactly how to break it down for you. You know what I'm saying? It's an energy thing, right? It's an energy thing. This video got super long, but it's an energy thing, all right? I'm gonna feel into you, you know what I'm saying? Pause. But, you know, we're gonna make something that is perfect for you, and I'm going to show you everything that I know, all right? So like I said, if that resonates, go ahead and apply. And thank you for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.